So today we will be commencing with the discussion of the phylum Ascalmenthus. See, phylum Ascalmenthus is also called as roundworm. So there are many examples for this roundworms. So you have this uh, eyeworm, then there is pinworm, then Wucheria bancrofti, which causes filariasis or elephantiasis, anekalu, what we call it as, that is caused by the filarial worms, which are microscopic in nature and they are transferred through the mosquito from an infected person to healthy person. So then there are small worms like eye worms, which we call it as loa loa. Then the roundworm, Ascaris lumbricoides. So these are the different types of examples that you come across in Ascalmenthus. So Ascalmenthus or roundworms, for the first time you notice that they are the only phylum which are pseudocoelomate. Okay, they have a false coelom. Then their body is not dorsoventrally flattened, like in case of flatworms they are dorsoventrally flattened, but here you find them to be uh, round in nature. So the females are larger than the males. So some of these unique attributes of this phylum Ascalmenthus will be studying later on, and most of them are parasitic in their mode of nutrition. Okay, so let us discuss the phylum Ascalmenthus or roundworms, some of the important general characters of it or salient features of phylum Ascalmenthus or roundworms. The salient features are, as I have told you, we'll go in a systematic way. So the grade of organization in case of phylum Platyhelminthes is they have organ and organ system of organization. Symmetry is bilateral. Okay, so this is platyhelminthus, sorry. So those gentle characters are of platyhelminthus. So what you can remember in case of the general characters of phylum Ascalmenthus is they are roundworms. The body is circular in cross section. They have some unique attributes of the syncytial or multinucleate epidermis. They have thick cuticle, so which prevents them from being digested by the within the host cell. So the females are larger than the males in case of Ascalmenthus or roundworm. So if you look into they have this organ and organ system of organization. Their symmetry is bilateral symmetry. They are pseudo-coelomate. They have a false coelom. So the coelom or the cavity is not lined by mesoderm. Instead, mesoderm are scattered as pouches, because of which we call this phylum Ascalmenthus as pseudo-coelomate. This is the only phylum which has a false coelom because they are not lined by mesoderm, and instead mesoderm are scattered as pouches within the coelom, within the cavity. Okay, then they are also you notice that they are diploblastic animals, or rather they are triploblastic animals. So habitat, majority of them are parasitic in nature. So they are found within the endoparasites especially. So they have the suckers and hooks similar to that of uh, the phylum Platyhelminthes. Even they have suckers and hooks. So the other unique feature about this phylum Ascalmenthus is they have an excretory tube to remove the body waste through the excretory pore. So they have an excretory tube to remove the body waste through the excretory pore. So they have this anus. So digestive system is complete because they have both mouth and anus as separate openings. So they have an excretory tube uh, to remove the body waste through the excretory pore. So you can notice here the excretory tube, so through which the uh, nitrogenous wastes are eliminated. So the other unique features are the individuals of this roundworms, they show sexual dimorphism. That is, morphologically, you can differentiate between male and female. Usually, females are longer than the males. Okay, so the sexual dimorphism, wherein you notice that they are morphologically, they can be distinguished into, differentiated into male and female. Usually, the females are longer than the males, and you can also notice that their development is indirect. They require intermediate hosts like primary hosts and secondary hosts before they develop. So they require intermediate hosts and secondary hosts before they develop. Okay, so their development is indirect. They also have larval stages. Some of the examples for this phylum Ascalmenthes are, so you have this Ascaris lumbricoides. So the roundworm, we call it as Ascaris lumbricoides. Then hookworm, this is how the hookworm looks. So ancylostoma or hookworm, Ascaris or roundworm. Then this Wucheria bancrofti, the filarial worms, which are microscopic in nature, and they cause this elephantiasis. So this filarial worm causes the elephantiasis. This disease is spread by mosquito from an infected person to an healthy person, and it is an irreversible increase in size of the limbs, especially the limbs. So there would be an irreversible increase in size of the limbs. So this is one of the features of the elephantiasis, which is caused by this roundworm, Wucheria bancrofti. And then there is also the lova lova, the eyeworm, which I had spoken about. Okay, fine. So the next phylum that we will be discussing after the Ascaris lumbricoides is the phylum Annelida, which is also called as segmented worms. So this is an earthworm. You can notice they have segmentation, both internal and external segmentation, and almost all the body organs are equally distributed in these segments. So the anterior few segments are fused to form the head region. So you can also notice the cephalization. So phylum Annelida or segmented worms, ringed or segmented worms, their body almost looks like tenicoid rings like it looks. So this segmentation is both external and internal segmentation, which we call it as metamerism. And almost all the body parts are equally, body organs are equally distributed in these segments. So if you look into their grade of organization, they have organ system of organization. So symmetry is bilaterally symmetrical. They are triploblastic. Even the roundworms were triploblastic. Coelom, for the first time, you notice that they have a true coelom, which is lined by the mesoderm. So they have coelom lined by the mesoderm. So they are coelomate animals. So habit and habitat, they are terrestrial forms are there, freshwater or marine forms are there, free living and parasitic forms also you can notice. Now the earthworm, which is the farmer's friend, is an example for Annelida. We also have the example for the leech, cattle leech, Hiridinaria. It is going to be the example for this annelidans. Okay, segmented worms. So the leech, cattle leech, or jigne, what we call it as, is also an example for Annelida. They have this segmentation, which is a characteristic feature of this phylum Annelida. For the first time, you notice a true type of coelom. So digestive system is complete because they have an uh, mouth and anus opening are separate. Respiratory system, it can take place through the moist skin, through the surface of the moist skin, which we call it as cutaneous respiration, or through the branchial respiration. The circulatory system is closed type. In case of these segmented worms, circulatory system is present and it is closed type. That is, the blood is pumped through the blood vessels like arteries, veins, and capillaries. Reproduction, sexual reproduction takes place. Earthworms and leeches are monoecious. Monoecious means single house. Both male and female reproductive organ are present in the same organism. So when we are talking about monoecious, we are saying that they are hermaphrodites or bisexuals. Earthworm and leeches are monoecious. Both male and female reproductive organs are present in the same organism. Nereis is dioecious. Nereis, you can notice this male and female Nereis, you can notice. Development is indirect. Even they have larval stages. That is the reason development is indirect. Unique features of this phylum Annelida. They have true segmentation, that is metamerism is noticed. The longitudinal and circular muscles, they help in locomotion. So the longitudinal and circular muscles, they help in locomotion. So the locomotory organs in phylum Annelida are setae or parapodia. So the locomotory organs in phylum Annelida are setae or parapodia. Okay, so the excretion is by nephridia. Excretion is by nephridia. So the paired ganglia, lateral nerves, double ventral nerve cord, you can notice here. So they have a paired ganglia, lateral nerves, and double ventral nerve cord. So the examples of this phylum uh, Annelida are Ferretima, that is earthworm, Hydinaria, cattle leech, Nereis. So these are the examples for the phylum Annelida. So you can notice this leech. Okay, leech has multiple stomachs. They are ectoparasites. After sucking the blood, complete blood, they detach themselves from the host. So they are not permanent parasites, permanent ectoparasites. They are temporary ectoparasites. They suck the blood from the cattle, and once they are filled, they just detach themselves uh, from the host. So they are temporary ectoparasites, and these have the leech has in its saliva hiridin, which prevents the clotting up of blood. So hiridin prevents the clotting up of that. It's an anticoagulant agent. So hiridin, which is present in the saliva of leech, they prevent the coagulation or clotting of blood. So the unique features that you can notice in case of this Annelida are segmentation like rings. So the metamerism you can notice in this uh, earthworm, even in case of leech, nereis. So you notice this segmentation like rings are noticed in case of the phylum Annelida. Okay, so the other unique features of this phylum Annelida are locomotory organs are setae. You can notice minute things called as setae. The locomotory organs are setae in earthworm, parapodia. In case of Nereus, it is parapodia. In case of earthworm, the locomotory organs are setae. In case of the Nereus, parapodia is the locomotory organ. So the unique feature is the excretion is by nephridia. So you find in each and every segment there would be the nephridia. So the nephridia is going to secrete out the nitrogenous waste. Okay, so the excretion is by nephridia. The other unique features are the nervous system. So they have a paired ganglia connected by lateral nerves to a double ventral nerve cord. Okay, so they have a paired ganglia connected by lateral nerves. So the paired ganglia connected by the lateral nerves to form, and they also have a double ventral nerve cord. So they have double ventral nerve cord. So that are they are the unique features of phylum Annelida. Double ventral nerve cord, paired ganglia connected by lateral nerves, and double ventral nerve cord are characteristic features, unique features of phylum Annelida. The examples of phylum Annelida are so the ferretima, earthworm ferretima, so leech, Hirdinaria, so they have a sucker through which they attach to the host. Okay, it's an ectoparasite. So earthworm is the friend of the farmer. So ferretima is one species of earthworm. Nereis or sandworm is also an annelid. So these are the examples of the phylum Annelida or segmented worms. Okay. So the segmented worms, where whenever a leech it bites a human, also you might have, especially in the regions like Coorg, Koppa, or places like even hill stations like Kodaikanal, Ooty, you might find a marshy places. You also find this lot of ectoparasites are there. Even in Munnar, the leech is noticed. I have been bitten twice by the leech. Okay, so I remember first one was at the uh, backwaters of Kerala, so Cochin. So I had been wearing a sports shoe. and on top of the sports shoe it had got attached and it had sucked the blood. I had not realized that I was uh, being attacked by a leech. I realized it only when I felt my socks were suddenly wet and sticky. I thought I might have placed my leg in a watery place. So I just removed my shoes and was surprised to notice that my socks were soaked with blood. And then I realized I was bitten by the leech. I've not seen the leech there, but I realized that I was bitten by the leech, and it took a long time before the blood clotted. So I washed off that wound to remove the hyaridin or saliva of that, so which prevents the clotting of blood. Okay, so then the second incident was at Kodaikanal when I was holding a tree posing for a photograph. I was bitten in between the thumb and the first finger. Okay, so even today that scar is there. So the leech had sucked blood from there. I could notice the leech. Then I tried pulling it out and I pulled out and threw it. So again, the blood, it took a lot of time before the blood could clot and heal the bite. Okay, so these are two incidents that I have personal experiences of being bitten by the sectoparasite leech. So many of you have been at Coorg or Koppa or the hill stations. So you would have heard about this aspect of it. So leech is an annelidan. Okay, they have segmented body, so metamerism is noticed. Okay, so these are a few examples of phylum Annelida. Next, we'll go to discussion of the phylum Arthropoda. So the largest phylum that includes over uh, fine, 1 minute. So the largest phylum, which includes over two-thirds of all named species, is phylum Arthropoda. So phylum Arthropoda means jointed legs. So you should remember that Arthropoda implies jointed legs. Okay, so these are a few things that you have to remember about. So the largest phylum that includes over two-thirds of all the named species is from phylum Arthropoda. They have joint-legged animals. So joint-legged animals you can notice in Arthropoda. So some of the salient features of this Arthropoda are, so the grade of organization that you can notice in case of Arthropoda is they have organ system level of organization. Symmetry is bilateral. You can divide the organism into two equal halves in only one plane of division. So the germ layers are three germ layers are there: outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, and inner endoderm. So they are triploblastic in nature. Coelom is they are coelomate. They have a true coelom. So the habit and habitats, they are almost found distributed everywhere. So they are cosmopolitan in their distribution. So digestive system is complete because they have a separate opening for mouth and anus. So we call the digestive system as complete digestive system. The respiratory system in case of this arthropoda or jointed legs, you notice that they have different types of respiratory system like the trachea is there, book gills are there, and book lungs. Trachea in case of cockroach, we have already, when you come to the type study of cockroach, you'll be understanding about this trachea, which is a respiratory organ in case of insects like cockroach. Gills, book gills or book lungs are also the other types of respiratory system. Circulatory system is open type. See, the circulatory system in case of the Annelida was the closed type of circulatory system. And one more thing is, even though the blood of earthworm is red in color, you should realize that the hemoglobin is present in the plasma, not in the RBC, as in case of human blood. So the hemoglobin, the coloring respiratory pigment is found in the plasma of these earthworm. In the annelidans, you notice it in the plasma the hemoglobin, whereas in human beings or in mammals, the RBC has this hemoglobin. Okay, so that we had discussed about. So now the circulatory system in case of annelida, it was closed type of circulatory system. That is, the blood from the heart was pumped into the regular blood vessels like arteries, veins, and capillaries. But here, in case of arthropoda, the circulatory system is open type. So the heart pumps the blood directly into the body spaces or the hemocoel, what we call it as the body spaces. So we call this type of circulatory system as open type of circulatory system. Reproduction, most of them are dioecious, that is, you can differentiate between male and female. So usually the fertilization is internal, mostly oviparous, they give birth to young one. Development is direct or indirect. So mostly they are oviparous. Development is direct or indirect development. See, in case of insects, from caterpillar stage, they form the beautiful butterfly or moth. So there is metamorphosis. Morphologically, they undergo a change. Then there are in some organisms, they you don't have any such larval stage or the caterpillar stage. They directly develop into the adult. So the young ones are miniature version of the adult. So in some of them, the development is direct. In many of them, the development is indirect. In case of arthropoda, so unique features of arthropoda are they have jointed appendages. The legs are jointed appendages are there, jointed legs. So the body can be differentiated into head, thorax, and abdomen. Okay, so the exoskeleton of the arthropods, they are made up of chitin. So they have a chitinous cuticle. So the excretory organs are Malpighian tubules. They have sense organs. See, they have high degree of cephalization. Cephalization commenced in Annelida. A few of the anterior segments fused to form head-like structure where the sensory organs were concentrated with the nervous system. And in case of arthropoda, the cephalization is at highest level. You can notice higher level, you can notice the cephalization when compared to Annelida. You find sensory organs like antennae, compound or simple eyes and statocysts. They're all present in the head region. And the head also has the nervous system. So even in us, we have high level of cephalization. If you look into our head region, very important part of the body, major part of our sense organs like eye, the vision, smell, hearing, tasting, and a little of skin that is for feeling. So all the sense organs are concentrated in the head region with the important central nervous system, that is the brain, located in the head region. So you should remember, head is an important organ of our important part of our body, and especially cephalization, you can notice that the sense organs are concentrated in the head region with the central nervous system. Now you can notice that even in case of these arthropods. So body has head, thorax, and abdomen. So they have their exoskeleton is made up of chitin. Their excretory organs are Malpighian tubules. They don't have kidneys. Rather, they have this numerous filamentous yellowish filaments called as Malpighian tubules, which are found in between midgut and hindgut, as in case of cockroach. So they have this excretory organs in the form of Malpighian tubules. Sense organs are found like antennae, compound or simple eyes. Compound eye, if they have, like in case of housefly, you might have seen the movie Eager, wherein they would have shown the eye in a very good zoomed position. See the eye of cockroach. I'm just talking about the cockroach. Eye of cockroach is compound eye. They get a mosaic vision. So each part of the eye gets a part of the image. Okay, they get a mosaic vision. And you notice that they have 2000 ommatidia. In case of cockroach, the compound eye has 2000 ommatidia. So you have to remember about it, which and they get this mosaic vision. Resolution is less, but they are very much they can see things, the movement of things they can capture very easily. but resolution might be lesser in case of this compound eye. So the arthropods can have compound or simple eye. They also have statocyst. Okay, so examples of this arthropods are spider, scorpion, crab, prawn, insects, etc. See, they have not given you the classification of phylum Arthropoda, but if it was given, so you have phylum Arthropoda is classified into major classes like class Crustacea, which includes prawns, crab, and other things. Then you have class Insecta. So Insecta, they have three pairs of legs which are arising from the thoracic region. See, spiders are not insects, they are arachnids. They have four pairs of legs. So now even the scorpion, they have four pairs of legs. So they are placed under arachnids. So spiders, so you notice that they are placed under arachnids because they have four pairs of legs. Okay, so prawn or seagdi, they are placed under crustacea. So you are very much aware about it. So next time you are consuming prawn, remember it is a member of Arthropoda, very close relative of insects. Okay, so that is one thing that you have to remember about. Then you also have scorpion. They have ovoviviparous condition. See, most of the insects, they are all egg-laying things, so we call them as oviparous. But even though they are viviparous, the scorpions, they give birth to young one. But in case of viviparous animals, the young one, when they are within the mother's womb, they have the placental connection and they get nutrition from the mother. But that placental connection is absent in case of the scorpion. So that is the reason scorpions are considered to be ovoviviparous condition. So wherein they give birth to young one, but even though they give birth to young one, within the mother's womb, they don't get nutrition from the mother's womb through the placenta. There is no such structure called as placenta. That is the reason scorpion is considered to be a ovoviviparous uh, condition. Okay, so scorpions are arachnids because they have four pairs of legs. So arachnids are different from insects. So next time you call a spider as an insect, technically you are wrong. Okay, so spiders are, okay, so spiders are going to be the what you call it as arachnids because they have four pairs of legs. So that point you have to always remember about. So the slide also shows the example of the prawn. Okay, a lobster was also under crustacea. So crabs are also under this category of arthropoda. They have jointed legs. So the centipede, jerry, and as well as millipedes, they are also placed under the arthropoda, jointed legs. So insects, wide variety of insects are there. Beetles, bugs, mosquitoes, housefly. So there are large number of them which are also harmful, and honeybees which are beneficial. So we get honey from them. Okay, they bring about pollination. So huge diversity of arthropods are noticed from the variety of number of species that are distributed. You can understand that the arthropods are the largest phylum that includes over two-thirds of all the named species in the animal kingdom. Two-thirds, it is two parts of three parts, is completely the diversity of arthropoda, the joint-legged animals. So they are so much prevalent and successful, and they have so much diversity of organisms in them, from arachnids to insects to the diplopoda, cephalopoda, all those, they come under this phylum Arthropoda. So crustacea, arachnids, insects, so then diplopoda, then the cephalopoda part of it. So now let us understand the unique features of it. See, the phylum Arthropoda, they have jointed legs. That is the unique feature. They have jointed appendages. Okay, that is the unique feature of this phylum arthropoda. Body can be divided into head region, the thoracic region, and the abdominal region. So you find the three pairs of legs in the thoracic region. So you have prothorax, mesothorax, metathorax. So from which you notice this three pairs of legs. So they are also segmented. Annelida and arthropoda, both of them are segmented. Okay, so body is covered by chitinous cuticle. So that is exoskeleton is made up of chitin. In case of arthropoda, the exoskeleton is made up of chitin. Excretion is by Malpighian tubules. Malpighian tubules are hairy yellow filamentous structures found in between the midgut and hindgut. So they bring about the excretion in arthropods. They help in the removal of nitrogenous waste. So the sensory organs are antenna, compound eye, okay, where they have this ommatidia, nearly 2000 ommatidia is noticed in case of cockroach. So they can also have simple eyes. Then they have this balancing organs called as statosis. So they also have this balancing organs called as statosis. So some of the examples that we have various insects. So spider is not an insect, it is an arachnid. Scorpion is also an arachnid. Okay, so the crab, so crab is crustacea. So you have to remember, so the crab is placed under crustaceans, just like the lobster uh, and the prawns. So crabs are also placed under this crustaceans. So shrimp, Seagdi, which is very small one. Then you have the prawns, lobsters, which are bigger ones, and crabs. They are all placed under this crustaceans. So next time you are having this prawn, remember they are crustacean. Okay, spider and scorpion are arachnids. Then various insects that you notice from mosquito to the beetle, wasp, moth. Okay, then you find this uh, bugs, different types of bugs. Then you also find this uh, the cockroach, housefly, butterflies. They're all the different types of insects. So wide variety of insects are noticed in nature. So the economically important insects in phylum Arthropoda, you have this honeybee, okay, uh, Bombax mori, that is the silkworm. So they are not allowed to develop into the adult silk moth. This is the adult silk moth. So generally they are not allowed to develop because in the cocoon stage itself, we are going to stifle them by putting them in boiling water. Stifle them is kill the larvae within the cocoon by putting them in the boiling water, and we extract the silk from the cocoon. Okay, silk fibers. So Bombax mori, the next time you're wearing a silk sari, remember that it is the secretion of the saliva of the Bombax mori or silkworm, so which you are using as fibers for the manufacture of this uh, glossy texturous silk. Okay, Lassifer lacquer, from which lax is obtained. So these are some of the economically important insects. Vectors, Anopheles mosquito, so female Anopheles, female Culex, Aedes aegypti, housefly. Housefly is also believed to spread along with cockroaches, cholera, and gastrointestinal diseases. So they are all, these insects are vectors. They carry the pathogens from an infected person to a healthy person. So that is the reason we call them as vectors. They don't cause it, especially in case of mosquitoes. Males do not cause the disease. It is the females which require blood for their life cycle of their young ones. They are going to be blood sucking. The female mosquitoes are blood sucking. Okay, so there are different types of mosquitoes which causes different types of diseases. See, various diseases are from mosquitoes, like from malaria, which is caused by the Plasmodium vivax. So the vectors of these are Anopheles, the mosquitoes are malaria is Anopheles. Then there is Culex mosquitoes and others which spread the dengue, chikungunya, Then there is also at present, so the various diseases of these, like the filarial worms, are also spread through the mosquitoes, which causes the elephantiasis. So large number of diseases are spread through these insects, which are vectors. From a healthy infected person to a healthy person, the disease is spread. So you should remember the mosquitoes, which are very harmful. They are just transporting vehicles. That is the reason we call them as vectors. See, the sleeping sickness, the disease is caused by Trypanosoma gambiensis. It is a protozoan, but that trypanosoma is transferred from an infected person to an healthy person by an insect called as CC. TSC, where T is silent. CC insect causes this sleeping sickness. So many of these uh, insects are also vectors for diseases. Then there are some which are gregarious pests. So especially this time we have felt uh, the onslaught of this locusts. So the swarm of locusts which completely destroyed the crops. This time even in India they had invaded the Rajasthan, Gujarat and other places. They had invaded even a few parts of Karnataka. So the locusts in a huge swarm, they had attacked the crops and they caused damage to the crops. So locusts are also gregarious pests. Okay. Then one of the living fossil of arthropods, limulus or king crab. See, this is limulus or king crab. Why we call it as living fossil is many of its related organisms, they are no more available. They are extinct, but one which has survived the onslaught of time. So they have been existing from the time of the Jurassic period to present. So this Limulus king crab, which is also commonly called as king crab. So this Limulus is considered to be the living fossil of arthropods. So remember about this Limulus, the living fossil. Okay, and Limulus is also one of the king crab or limulus, they have a neurogenic heart. You can also remember about that. Okay, so these are the phylums that I wanted to discuss about. In the next class, we'll be discussing about the second largest phylum, that is phylum Mollusca. Okay, so do you have any doubts or clarifications, students? So if you have any doubts or clarifications, you can get it clarified.